Let me ask you this. Do you think that this brings about a better Drake?
I think Drake is done.
You can't be that guy asking for a hug over and over. What you mean?
Drake just dropped a new project, and at this point, he's just begging for hugs. Literally.
Give me a hug, give me a hug, give me a hug refrains. Literally giving us where my hug at energy.
But honestly, how could he not? Kendrick just embarrassed him on a global stage, throwing out "He Likes 'Em Young" during the Super Bowl, the most watched event of the year. Are we witnessing Drake's downfall?
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young.
If you somehow missed the drama, there's an hour-and-a-half long breakdown somewhere out there. But for the short version, Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. The internet lost its mind, and suddenly Drake found himself at the center of a roast session he did not sign up for. Instead of clapping back with another diss track, oh wait, he did, but it was terrible. Drake instead filed a petition armed at the UMG and Spotify, claiming they did some shady business to push Kendrick's tracks to the top. Drake is mad that UMG let Not Like Us run wild while allegedly leaving his music to fend for itself.
One, what is the next move for Drake?
Lawsuit.
No!
So basically, Drake didn't sue UMG, he just sent them a fancy gather the receipts request before going full Karen in court. The petition was him saying, hey, before I officially take you to Judge Judy, let's get some evidence together.
We doing this for diss tracks?
Disgusting. It's nasty, man.
According to Drake's legal team, UMG went full Matrix mode, allegedly using bots, sketchy pay-to-play deals, and what can only be described as music industry sorcery to flood Spotify and radio with Kendrick's track. They also claim that if you asked Siri to play Certified Lover Boy, it would instead pull up Not Like Us, which is the funniest AI betrayal of all time.
Play Certified Lover Boy on Spotify.
But the best part? The whole bot accusation. According to Drake's team, someone in Kendrick's camp allegedly paid a random kid to artificially boost Not Like Us by 30 million streams. And the source for this claim? A DJ Academics interview on YouTube.
The reason, so you're the fake stream guy, right?
Yeah.
Now,
everybody pretty much goes to me for anything like fake streams or fake views.
Yes. Really.
Yeah, somebody's lying. I can see the vibes on act. Even he looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back. Ain't no...
Nigga, what?
So yeah, the petition isn't exactly holding up under scrutiny. Whether it actually turns into a full lawsuit or just fades into the background like one of Drake's more forgettable album tracks remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this is easily one of the most hilariously desperate legal moves in rap beef history.
Is the source over here a social media user and DJ Academics? That's the source.
Meanwhile, UMG responded with the classic corporate "how dare you" routine. They called Drake's claims offensive and untrue, threw in some of the high ethical practices nonsense, and basically said, fans just love Kendrick more, buddy. Cope. So the problem with Drake's petition is pretty simple. Botting in the music industry is about as common as autotune in a pop song. Drake has definitely known about this for years, but only he decided to care after losing a rap beef. This makes it all seem less like a stand for fairness and more like a sore loser trying to rewrite the scoreboard. If he was really concerned about the industry's integrity, why didn't he speak up when his own songs were topping the charts under the same system? But instead of letting it go, Drake doubled down and filed another petition, this time aimed at UMG and iHeartRadio. The new claim? The UMG was paying iHeart to push Not Like Us harder than any other track. Spotify clapped back, saying, that's a lie, bro, UMG never paid us for anything. Drake's team, of course, wasn't buying it. They responded by saying, of course Spotify wants to distance itself from UMG's shady practices. But at this point, all of this was just legal posturing, until January 15th, when Drake finally pulled the trigger and sued Universal Music Group. Now, here's where things really get messy. The lawsuit is 81 pages long and packed with serious allegations, not just against UMG, but indirectly against Kendrick and others. Even though it claims specifically states that Kendrick himself isn't being sued, it repeats the same claims about botting, payola, and industry manipulation. And it still relies on that DJ Academics clip, which is hilarious because, again, that source is about as reliable as a weather forecast from a psychic.
What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick? Because my top 5 is Drake, 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 Drake.
UMG removing the copyright from Not Like Us was a strategic move. By making the song easier to react to, it encouraged more YouTubers and streamers to give it free promo. The lawsuit specifically called out creators like CHn&x and RDC, which led some fans to notice that Drake's legal team only named black YouTubers, even though plenty of white YouTubers also reacted to the song. To be clear, none of these creators are in trouble. The lawsuit just argues that UMG's actions incentivized reactions, making the song spread further than it would have organically.
He's saying UMG slid you some bread.
Drake's lawsuit is 81 pages long, but it boils down to 3 main claims. The first is defamation. The lawsuit includes a bunch of evidence showing that Drake's public image took a major hit, even citing a poll that shows his favorability dropped. It also points to Kendrick's lyrics in Not Like Us, especially the line calling Drake a certified pedo, as well as the song's cover art, which shows Drake's house with PTO symbols on it. The lawsuit includes screenshots of social media comments, memes, and comparisons to Jeffrey Epstein, arguing that these false allegations spread so widely that the public started seeing them as fact. The second claim is harassment in the second degree. The lawsuit actually opens with this argument, describing an incident from May 7, 2024. According to the filing, in the middle of the night, an armed group of assailants drove up to Drake's Toronto home while he and his family were inside. Drake was inside his house when a car stopped in front of his residence. Someone yelled his name, and at least one gunman opened fire. His security guard was hit and barely survived.
Now, security was on hand when a man was arrested outside Drake's mansion this afternoon.
The very next day, May 8, 2024, a different intruder used his bare hands to dig under Drake's security fence, managed to squeeze through and entered his property. He yelled racist slurs and threats before being escorted off. Then on May 9th, another break-in attempt happened. Drake's lawsuit argues that Not Like Us directly incited violence against him. The filing points out that in over 20 years in the public eye, nothing like this ever happened to him or his family, until right after Kendrick's diss track dropped. While it's clear that Not Like Us sparked extreme reactions, it's a stretch to blame Kendrick or UMG for fans taking things too far.
Hey Drake, you on the phone with an A minor.
The lawsuit also claims that the song's refrain, "Drake is not like us," was an attack on Drake's Jewish heritage, framing him as a colonizer rather than a part of the culture. This argument has been widely criticized, with many pointing out that Kendrick was talking about Drake being an outsider to hip-hop culture, not making an anti-Semitic statement. One Jewish fan even called out Drake for trying to weaponize anti-Semitism when he's never been vocal about Jewish issues before.
And Kendrick, you are absolutely right. Drake is not like you. Because Drake is a Jew. He's the son of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The third major claim is that UMG violated New York General Business Law 349, which prohibits deceptive business practices. Drake's legal team argues that UMG intentionally devalued his music and brand to weaken his negotiating power. Since Drake is in the middle of negotiating his deal with UMG this year, they claim that the label orchestrated this situation to pressure him into signing on terms that favor them. Drake's lawsuit doesn't provide much concrete proof for his claims, but it does raise a big question. Why would he go through this? He has to know how this makes him look after losing the battle. So what does he stand to gain? The lawsuit makes some wild claims that Not Like Us led to violence against Drake, endangered his family, destroyed his reputation, hurt his income, and was orchestrated by UMG to force him into a worse contract. Naturally, UMG had to respond. They denied everything, calling the claims illogical. They pointed out that they've heavily invested in Drake's career, helped him achieve massive success, and have always let him express himself freely, even in diss tracks against others. And that's the key issue here. Drake has gone after plenty of artists in the past. Rick Ross, The Weeknd, Pusha T, and many more. UMG never interfered before, so why would they suddenly conspire against him now? Billboard even wrote that this lawsuit isn't hip-hop because Drake took brutal shots at Kendrick, accusing him of domestic violence and being a bad father, but is now suing when the tables turned and Kendrick's track hit harder. Some believe that Drake is afraid to sue Kendrick directly, either because it would look even worse or because he knows it wouldn't go anywhere. Even UMG reportedly told him, "You should be suing Kendrick, not us," and said they'd help him do it, but instead Drake targeted the label, possibly because he thought it was a safer bet. Kendrick, however, didn't let it slide. Right before dropping Not Like Us at the Super Bowl, he threw one more jab at Drake, saying, "I want to play their favorite song, but you know they love to sue."
I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue.
The biggest flaw in Drake's argument is simple. Why would UMG, a company that makes millions off him, want to destroy his reputation? They still need him to sell records. There's no way that they believe they'd make more money off Not Like Us than another few of Drake's albums. But at the same time, would Drake risk credibility like this if he didn't believe he had a case? Or is this just a desperation after a major L? Only time will tell.